Everyone, welcome back to the next video. In today's video I will talk about Unity's new pricing plan and how it will affect as a mobile app developer. So I'm not a game developer, so I will tell you my journey about Unity. Like, I have tried multiple times to become a game developer or at least learn game development, and I first installed Unity. I think it was around 2019 or around 2020, uh, and I started learning Unity, and I absolutely hated it. One reason being, it is an extremely bloated software. Second, it is extremely slow. So there are two things at the, like, I am not able to remember much, but from what I could recollect was, there was this Unity IDE, and for writing C sharp code I have to either install Visual Studio or I would have to do in VS Code. And every time, even if you make a small change in your code, like adding a semicolon, so we had to use C sharp, and I come back to that Unity editor, it has to recompile again everything. This was so annoying. Like, I personally don't like to post bad stuff about other technologies, and I don't really care about it, because most of the technologies which I use are open source, or iOS development is not open source, but at least yeah, Apple is has its own stuff, but at least they are not making bad decisions as Unity. And So firstly, how it affects you as a mobile app developer. So firstly, if you look, Vision OS is getting launched in January next year. So Apple had tied up with Unity to develop all the tools for Vision OS. Of course, Vision OS, like, you can still write Swift UI kit, Swift UI for developing Vision OS as well, and that's what I will be using. I'm not touching Unity at all. But that's the thing. Like, why do these big companies tie up with Unity is beyond me. Like, I can understand Unreal Engine has its own beef with Apple. That's why Apple didn't go with Unreal Engine, but at least Apple should have developed its own set of tools. If not own set of tools, at least they should have sponsored some open source engine like Godot, and there are other open source engine as well. Like, I'm not really familiar into game development, but Godot is really popular. Godot or Godot, however you pronounce it. So that's the main problem. So Vision OS is a main problem now. To develop games, if you are a game developer, from what I have read on Twitter and on Reddit, a lot of people are suggesting Godot, and even I have tried Godot and I have absolutely loved it. I know Godot does not give like in aspects of 3D, it is behind Unity, and even in AR VR or mixed reality stuff, it is a lot behind Unity. But I think it will catch up pretty soon, like maybe in 4 or 5 years, I guess. Soon as in 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I think 3D might get better sooner with Godot 4.2. But yeah, the AR VR stuff, I think if all developers from Unity come to Godot, at least some of them come to Godot, I think these things would speed up pretty fast. So what the controversy is that, at least at the time of this recording, if you can see over here, they want to charge you for every install. So suppose if I have installed your game on my mobile device, then I install it on my desktop, so those would be count as two separate installs, and they will charge you according to that. Of course, they have said that it should be around 200,000 USD or something, and it should have 200,000 lifetime game installs after that. But still, you can't charge people based on installs. You my I think they should have kept the pricing plan similar to Unreal, even though that is also, has its own pros and cons. But this is absolutely, like, I don't want to use that word, but this is absolutely bad. First is Vision OS, that would be affecting you as a mobile app developer. So I would suggest, don't use Unity. Whatever Apple has said, like whatever Unity has said in Apple's WWDC event, do not concentrate on that. Just use Swift UI kit, Swift programming language, and you will be fine. Of course, I'm little worried about how to do complex things. So maybe someone from the community will come up with something, or maybe Godot will provide some kind of a good support. uh, Next is for Android. Like, if you like, I can't remember the augmented reality framework. I think it was something called Sceneform or something. And Android had, like, Google has developed this augmented reality framework called Streamform, and later after a year or two they decide to deprecate it, and they just told developers, okay, just go and use Unity. Like even then I was like, how can you use Unity if I am a mobile app developer? Of course I can embed some of Unity's content into my mobile app development, but I have to learn Unity again as a mobile app developer, which didn't seem fair to me. Of course I know there is one French guy who is maintaining this augmented reality stuff, like open source stuff. So if you are interested, you can check that out. Next is MetaQuest. I think a lot of people who develop for MetaQuest, though this is not into mobile app development, but a lot of people use Unity for AR VR stuff, and I think Meta and Microsoft should cancel whatever deals they have with Unity. It just hurts developers a lot. What I feel is that develop your own SDK, like MetaQuest or Microsoft. They should develop. I know they do have their own SDK, but they don't have their, like, they don't have a proper environment. The developer experience is very bad. They just tell, okay, just use Unity, and Unity itself has a very bad developer experience. So if I'm trying to learn MetaQuest, or if I'm trying to learn Microsoft's HoloLens, I don't mind learning new things. But this kind of deals, like what the one which Unity has announced, it affects a lot of people. So that's what really pisses me off. That's the one thing. And I've also covered Android. So that's the second thing. And for iOS also, a lot of people are, hopefully they stay away from Unity for Vision OS. Like the one thing which I feel really bad about is there are a lot of Unity developers, and now they are might have to learn new things. Like learning new things is not bad, but they are stuck with Unity for at least for few years now, because they might have a game already in development. So that might take few months or even years, depending on how big your game is. So that's the only sad part about it. Otherwise, like Unity can do whatever they want. Like I don't really care. It's just that I feel bad for the developers who are already using Unity. I hope Godot gets really popular. Like it is already popular, but it gets even more popular as what Unity is. And hopefully people stop using Unity, just to let those Unity folks know that we as developers can make or break things as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.